for 2 months. If I don't show up for a couple of months, the business will be fine. It's not about to stop. If I don't have a train driver show up tomorrow, then that particular piece of work stops. You don't get the revenue. So day to day, I'm actually not that important in that sense. However, one of the things to remember as you go through that is that long term, every company needs everybody that's in it. My driver is not strategizing about the next contract, the next market he's going to enter, and how he's going to make the right contacts to do that. My driver's turning up and driving. So tomorrow, that's essential. That if that's all that people do for the next 12 months in my business, then there will be no business in 12 months. So you have to have everybody, no matter how useless you may think management are, no matter how much you might look at them when you start out and go, what are they doing? The businesses need everybody that's in them. And once you realise that, it helps when you say me, because you begin to understand exactly what your role is within the business and how you fit. So I look by now, so I'm going to try and link my journey through some leadership theory we talked about, okay? So a great man and trait theory, as I've mentioned, you know, yes, I've got many traits that didn't necessarily make me a great leader. Behavioural theory and contingency, let's lump them a little bit together. So actually in my early management days, I was quite often matched up to situations. So I had a certain style of being slightly over-dominant, didn't really listen to people, you know, sort of made my decisions probably a little bit too rapidly, didn't engage with people. But in some situations, that was absolutely perfect. We had some divisions in one of the businesses I worked for that were really struggling, that needed someone to go in and make those decisions. So I was often matched with those types of positions because that worked. But then as I learned and as I increased in my seniority, what happened is that every role was less specific, and once the role wasn't so specific, I couldn't be the same style every day. So I naturally began to change, to take on a more of a situational leadership approach to things, because I had far bigger group of people with lots of different things. I couldn't be the same with everybody. It wasn't such a specific situation. So I naturally began to adjust. Why? Well, because, you know, I've already got the traits like everybody here. I've learned, I've watched everything that's happened in life, I've viewed back things that I've done and said that was a mistake, because I learned. That's the only reason. So that sort of improves. And then transformational. So now I'm at the top of the tree. For me, I know I can get a bigger company, that'd be good, but at the moment, I'm at the top of the tree. I'm very, very pleased with it. And I suppose I am now back to that whole transformational, because I really don't have a proper job. And there is nobody expecting me to produce anything on a daily basis for anybody. It's really interesting. I wake up every morning and think, what am I going to do today? So my job every day now is simply to be out, to talk to people in my business, to listen to people in the business, to try and create the atmosphere and the vision for people to do things. That's what I do on a day-to-day. So have I turned back to becoming those traits or those aspects of a great man, or woman, let's say? We'll have to change the name of Great Man Theory one day, aren't we? Have I? Well, yeah, probably. But those things are no different to what I had at the very start of my journey. It's just that I've learned how to use them better over time. So, you know, people say, you can't learn to be a leader. Well, I disagree completely. And all of you here will be, or have the chance to be, great leaders. And some of it will come down to how you decide to define that. Okay? I've met a couple leaders that I'd say are great leaders, because the impact they make on people's lives and on children's lives and on those young people's lives is phenomenal. Okay? That makes them great leaders. So whatever it is, you'll learn to recognise it differently, but you will just learn to take the traits you have and use them in a different manner. So leadership can be learned. It is learned, in my opinion. We all start off with some of those things, and it's a matter about what we do with them. So, a couple of things though, in my opinion, what do you need? So, what do you need? So you need to, so clearly, you don't have to be born it. You've all got the traits, you need to use them the right way. One of the things absolutely paramount, you can never stop learning. You won't learn to use them the right way, to adapt these things that you've already got, to change them, unless you keep learning, unless you stay interested. Okay, so you must learn. You must accept certain things. You must accept that it doesn't have to be your way. Your way is not necessarily the only way. It could be right, that's not to say it's not right, but it's not the only way. So big thing, people always used to tell me, and I say, I wake up in the morning and I don't always remember this, but I actually have 2 ears and 1 mouth, not the other way round, okay? And I still struggle with that. I'm an actually outgoing, kind of vivacious sort of person, so I still struggle with that. But I remember now to switch on the right way for being when I go into situations where I need to have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, okay? You need to empower people. You cannot, whether you want to or not, you can't be a super person. You are not going to be, as you move through your career, you are not going to be able to do everything yourself. But unless you empower other people, you're going to end up having to. And if you have to do that as you move up, you will fail at it. So you've got to empower other people. Everyone else around you is one thing to remember. You look at everyone in this room, and I said you all have some of those traits. So when you go into the workplace, everyone else around you has got those traits too. What might make you the better leaders to them is whether you bring out the best in them. Do you bring out the best in those other people? Do you allow those people to show their traits, become the leaders that they can be? And if you do that, then you'll be successful. If you don't empower people, you try and do it for yourself, which I used to try to do, it will simply cause you to fail. And as I say, you think about those and deliver. The other thing my staff tell me all the time now is that you've got to be authentic all the time. People have got to believe you. So don't try and be something else. Now those things that we talked about in terms of learning and accepting and empowering and delivering are, first of all, they all make LEAD. Learning, empowering, accepting and delivering. It happily makes the acronym for LEAD, which is great, but they're not actually the traits that I talked about at the beginning. And we don't need to worry about them. So as I said, you've all got them already. What you've got to do is figure out how to use them. And if you make sure that you continue to learn, you accept that you don't always have all the answers, you empower people to help, and you empower people to do things themselves, and you deliver off the back of that. You will deliver. If you do it that way, you will deliver. Then all will be well in the world. So one of the final notes is this slide up here. So this is something, I don't know, does anybody recognise that at all? Anybody? Okay, so this is the Clipper Round the World Yacht Race. That particular boat is on its way around the world as we speak. It's called Liverpool 2018. It's been sponsored by Liverpool. And actually the Port of Liverpool sponsored the race this year. So this is the 11th race around the world. They leave every 2 years for 11 months, the boats. They're sponsored, different port sponsors every year, different boat sponsors every year, etc. So I'm on this boat in January. I'm sailing from Australia to China. I'd never sailed in my life till I signed up for this race. And I get really, really badly seasick, it turns out. I got, just so you know, because I'd like everybody to feel this with me. On one of the training courses, I vomited, and when I say vomited, I mean like you have never heard, and you have all heard a fair bit probably. Like you have never heard, between stepping out of my bunk and managing to get on deck in my gear 7 times. It was exhausting. It was just horrendous. It goes a bit like this: sit up, throw up. Move round to the galley, throw up. Get into the cupboard to get your foulies out, throw up. Get your bottoms on, throw up. Brace yourself to put the one over the top of your head, because what you don't want to do is throw up inside it. It goes a little bit like that. It's awful, it's terrible. Anyway, I'm still doing it. But it is interesting. So in leadership, okay, just to bring it back to leadership. When I do that, I'm not the leader on that boat. Okay? I'm not. I've never sailed in my life till I did this. Now, the whole race is run with amateurs apart from the skipper, who's a professional. So the skipper is obviously going to be the leader there, not me. So despite what I go in and out and do every single day, my job on that boat won't be the leader. But there will be lots of elements of being a leader that do come into play. My emotional intelligence will be absolutely paramount. We're sat with 20 people below decks and we hot bunk. There is no space, there is no privacy, there are no doors on anything, there's no nothing, okay? And you're the eclectic group of people some of whom you probably won't like. You know, you won't. Chances of everybody being wonderful on the boat, they probably are all lovely people, but that doesn't mean they're your type. So how do you get through? My longest race, I do 2 races in the leg that I'm doing, and I will spend between 26 and 30 days at sea on my longest race on this boat. So how do you get through with that? We get through by taking some of those things that you switch on every day and you